Yo, for real, on some covert operations type shit, man. Clandestine operations. I'm talking about civilian, private military company, clandestine operations. Some people who aren't keyed in, man, they just think the whole thing is crazy. They have no idea. They have no idea that we started this shit, man, from a childhood pact. Friends of mine, man, we vowed to do this shit. It's not like we're making this shit up on the fly, man, or that we like made it up. It's that we fucking did it. You know? I mean, man, when I was in fucking high school, I was like, do I want to be a police officer or a firefighter? Like, do I want to go to work at Boeing and like, or join the military and like, do I want to be a medical doctor or, what do I want to do, man? Because aside from having an issue with my fucking principal at the time, who was a motherfucking piece of shit, I did well in school, man. Like, I was a fucking great student. So academically, I could have done whatever the fuck I wanted to do, man. If I wanted to, like, go to college and, like, study medicine, I could have done that shit. If I wanted to, like, go to the Persian Gulf War and, like, fight there, I could have done that shit. I talked to a lot of different recruiters, man. And, but you know what, man? The drug trade was popping, man, and the neighborhood that I lived in, man, was engulfed in a drug war. And there are a lot of, like, drug profits, man, going around. And, I mean, I just wasn't sold on the whole Persian Gulf thing, man. I really wasn't. I wasn't sold on it. I'm not saying that it wasn't legit. And I just really wasn't fucking motivated, man, to go to college, like, right after high school. I was like, the fuck am I going to go to college for? Right away. I'll go someday, but I don't need to go right now, man. I just want to stack some fucking money, man. I don't want to rely on student financial aid. Like, I was misguided, but I was also thinking, like, intelligently on some level. I was like, yo, I don't want to fuck my credit up. I don't want to have kids. Every kid that you have, man, is like $100,000, like that, I saw that number. That shit was like in the news. They were like, if you have a child now, just having a child in the hospital, it will cost you beginning $100,000 fucking dollars. I'm like, yo, man, I'm not trying to like run up my credit like that. Like, some people want to do that, man. They can go ahead and do that, but that ain't me. Man, I'm trying to stack bread, trying to fucking build my credit up. And so I was trying to play it smart, man. I'm like, maybe one day I'll join the military. I don't need to join the military like right out of fucking high school, like right away. You know what I mean? Like, that's how I was thinking at the time. I was like, I don't want to be a cop because I saw the shit that like crooked cops were doing in our neighborhood. And I'm like, yo, man, they just rubbed me the wrong way. Like, any thoughts or ideas that I had as a kid watching like cops and robber shows, like maybe one day I'll be a police officer. I was like, fuck all that noise. You know what I mean? Like, I was kind of turned off by the whole thing. But, the difference, the exception, is that there was a time when I actually flirted with the idea. We had an explorers program in our town. And my cousin was rocking with them a little bit. My cousin Rizzo, he was like, Grove, I've been doing that explorers program. And I was like, oh, the shit with the police? If you knew my cousin Rizzo, man, you'd be like, bro, he's white Caucasian. He's my dude. You know what I mean? I've talked a lot about him. You know what I'm saying? But, look, we were in a fucking gang, okay? So, but we were smart kids too. So I'm like, yeah, okay, bro, I got it. Like, game theory. Like, what are you doing with the explorers? And he's like, just training. I was like, okay. So they let you in, huh? And I had to think about it. I was like, we were fucked up. Like, we were doing bad shit, like crimes, man, like illegal shit. But a lot of the stuff that we were doing were like just reckless, petty, stupid shit like lawn job. Listen, okay, this is before the gangs came up from California on the level that they did, and the shit got way out of control. I'm talking back in the days of innocence where if you joined a gang, it was like some posse shit. Like you're rolling with your posse, you've got your gear, you've got your colors, you know what I mean? It wasn't really like you had to be doing some illegal shit like back then. Illegal shit was like disorderly conduct. Like having a party and like, you know, mooning the cops. Like, fuck you, cop, kiss my ass. And you moon the police. And then the cops are like, all right, come with us. That's disorderly. We told you not to push the envelope and you had to go and moon us with the BA. Okay? That was like, you know, illegal back then. You know what I mean? Like that was like considered, you know, like a big deal back then before like the big time shit like rolled out. So we were doing shit like that, man, like lawn jobs. And like, for those of you who don't know what a lawn, by the way, I'm One Sir Grove. This is C4CW, casting 495 celebrities worldwide. If you are a fans of the show, then we 495 most certainly appreciate you. And if you're not a fucking real fan or true fans, we can't force you to be. Okay? Fucking, you know, it's just how it is. So, a lawn job, I'm just saying we have an international audience, man. And not everyone knows what a lawn job is. But, you know, you take a car, man, and you just drive up in someone's lawn. Very disrespectful. Very wrong of us to do that. We were just stupid fucking kids watching movies and like, oh, dude, let's do a lawn job like in that one crazy party college, like, you know, frat movie. So we would do shit like that. Steal a fucking car or just take some car that we weren't authorized to drive, but a relative's car. And we just drive to fucking town and just go up on people's lawns and do parks and shit and do brodies and like whatever, man. It was just all dumb. But it was fun. And it was misguided and reckless. And by the way, if you're someone out there listening, and you're considering doing lawn jobs and shit, please don't. It's just rude and disrespectful. You know what I mean? It's just a mess and it ruins people's lawns and it's not nice. So, I mean, One Sir Grove is just asking, you know, if you're considering doing a lawn job, please don't do it. So we were doing stupid shit like that, walking through alleys, graffitiing, you know, with the whole, you know, marker, pen shit, like Magnum 44 marker, if you're not familiar with it, it's just a really thick gauge marker, and it, like, is permanent, you know, so we do shit like that, tagging, and then also aerosol, like, spray paint, like, Krylon can, like, paint on top of the markers, and, like, tagging, as it's called. So we were tagging, spray painting, graffitiing. Again, misguided, just fucking stupid. You know, we could have made better use of our time. We just didn't, you know. So, we were doing just really fucking petty shit. And we, like I said, should not have been doing any such petty shit, any type of crimes or criminal activity whatsoever. So when it was coming up to time, you know, for graduation, when it was, you know, nearing graduation time, when my cousin said that he was with the Explorers, I kind of had to think back, like, okay, so you're with the Explorers, right on, I get it, like game theory, John von Neumann, you know, keep your enemies, you know, your friends close and your enemies closer. So I was like, yo, what's the, you know, what's the dilly, yo? Like, what's the gambit, man? What's the gameplay strategy here? He's like, just training. And I was like, all right. We kind of laughed. He's like, nah, you know, I'm just kind of wondering, you know, what I'm going to do with my career. And I was like, yeah, nah, I hear what you're saying, man. And I was like, so the Explorers, huh? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, well, how does it work, man? And he's like, oh, you interested? I was like, I don't know, man. What are you guys doing? What is it all about, man? Is it to become an actual police officer? Because if so, probably not, bro. Like, you know, no disrespect to cops that are, like, hardworking and they mean well, but probably not my fucking forte. You know, I mean, if we're talking about some tactical shit that goes beyond just like regular, everyday, normal, like policing, I mean, I get it. Some cops are on the SWAT team and they're also beat cops, patrol cops, right? You know, they do both. They're dual-headed. Like, but I was like, bro, but what are you trying to do? And he was telling me that he was just kind of feeling it out. He was just kind of like considering options. And he was just kind of going out on some runs and some rides with the police. And I was like, interesting. So then he was doing he was also doing the, where someone is an actor and pretends to be a criminal. You guys familiar with this? And they do like role playing. So he's like a role player, right? He signs up, he gets cleared, you know, with this like background to go out, and there will be all these different, you know, scenarios. And he's supposed to be like the tango or the bad guy, right? And he's not in the context of these like role playing activities. He's just role playing with the police, and they pay him, or he volunteers, or it's volunteer combination, and then maybe there's some money. He's a role player with the police, and so they'll have these like different like mock like drug houses and like different type of like SWAT scenarios, and he's like the guy in there with the like, you know, fake gun, and then the like SWAT team comes in, or these like tactical groups, and you know, they have to like find him, and then once they do, you know, he has to like go through these motions with them, like whether he's going to be cooperative or uncooperative. So he was doing that kind of stuff, right? Really piqued my interest. And so I had to think about it at the time. I was like, well, you know, we really haven't done anything that's like over the top, like we haven't done any heinous crimes that would prevent us from, if we chose to like get involved with law enforcement. You know, like I knew I never wanted to be FBI. I'm like, you know, FBI isn't my fucking thing. I'm not riding with J. Edgar Hoover. You know, I get it. Men and women who are at FBI who mean well, their, you know, goal, agenda is to protect and defend America, secure America. I get it. Like, they're a good, you know, I've talked to people, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I told you I met David Major. He's a former counterintelligence under many different presidential administrations, and he went up against the Soviets. He was the number one counterintelligence person at the bureau responsible for defending America against the former Soviet Union. So I've communicated with him, man. And there was a time when I was going to some of his different seminars and meetings and whatnot, and he gave me the book Venona, which is not in print or circulation. So I have Venona that he gave me personally, and I've talked about that. So I've met David Major. You know what I mean? Good people, man. You know, just good folks at the Bureau, you know, working to defend and secure America against terrorists and other threats. But, you know, still, I'm like, yeah, I get it. There are good and bad people who work at FBI. But it's not my cup of tea, man. It's not my, you know, some people, they aspire to be at the Bureau. You know, they have a family member like a mom or a dad, mother or father, a relative, uncle or a brother or someone, and they want to do it too, you know, as part of like family lineage. It never interested me, man. Like, you know, I've communicated with folks, you know, who have been at FBI, and, but, you know, it's just, it never interested me, man. So that was high school, you know, looking at different options and whatnot, you know, because we didn't really have criminal records, man. I mean, we had some little petty shit, but nothing fucking major. So as time went on and things changed politically, economically, socially, just across the board in America, we entered into a recession. Gangs, crime spiraled out of almost control. It was a dark time. I've blogged and podcasted about this quite a bit. Well, there was a time when I said, you know, in the future, I'm going to create an organization to combat all of this. And it is going to be a paramilitary, private military company, and it is going to be legitimate. And I'm going to use everything that I learned on the streets. I'm going to use everything that I learned on the streets in the formation and creation of this organization that I have in mind. And this is at the time. This is some, 20-something years ago. And on occasion, I would share some of the information with some of the different guys that I was on the streets with. And I'd be like, yo, man, we're out here doing this shit, man. Have you ever thought about, like, what it'd be like, man, if we just, like, left this lifestyle, man, and we, like, left the gang and just, like, did something, like, good for America? I'd put that out there, man. I'd put that out there. And, man, listen, we did good things, man, at times. Like, we would protect and defend people who were less fortunate and timid and just weak and, who were being bullied, man. We'd recognize certain persons as being, victimized, man, by dudes that were bigger than them and whatnot. We'd step in and we'd be like, yo, man, why don't you pick on someone your own fucking size and just pull out like a 45 fucking, with an infrared beam on it and be like, is this your own motherfucking size or what, fool? Yeah. What's up now, motherfucker? Why you want to beat on this dude? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. What's up? You beating on someone right now, motherfucker? What's happening? Type shit. I'm just saying, man, you just see kids, man, get like beat up and victimized and punched up and their noses bloodied or just pummeled with fists. Man, back in the day, shit was brutal, man. And or maybe a gun wasn't involved, and it was just like bare fists. Like, look, man, I'll just put the gun to the side. Let's knuckle up. What's up, bro? You want to pick on this fool? You know what I'm saying? Man, this poor innocent dude, man. Why don't you pick? What's up, man? What are we doing? Just, going up against the bullies, man. We did shit like that, man. We did good things on occasion. The more I saw the crime in the streets, man, and the crime in the community, and just like everyone involved, I was like, yo, this is like Lord of the Flies, man. This shit is just dark. This isn't how life is supposed to fucking be, man. We all grew up innocent kids, doing innocent shit, riding scooters, bikes, skateboards, like around the neighborhood, man. And, quite frankly, who the fuck, like, wants to join a gang? Like, yeah, dude, I'm going to grow up and I'm going to join a gang. That's like what I aspired to do and be part of, right? I think a lot of dudes I know, man, they joined gangs because the city became virtually overwhelmed in parts by gangs. You just walk out fucking side. There's gangs out there. We're talking about hordes of people, man. Just mobs of motherfuckers. Just like mobbing around town. And, you'd see them flashing money and shit, man. It's always kind of the same story when you hear about dudes that have been in gangs and why they joined the gangs. I mean, it's the same with us, man. It's really no fucking different. We didn't all have money. We might have had like, some well-off relatives or something, someone who was. But a lot of us, man, we were just like middle class. And then, there was a time when we had less than middle class or, like we had less than middle class. And there would be like an economic situation in the home. And then it'd be like, well, how are we going to get the money, man, to like buy normal shit? So then you'd be outside, man, and you'd be like, yo, I don't want to sell crack, man. I don't want to fucking do it. I just don't want to fucking do this criminal shit. But then motherfuckers would be there like, growth. No, you got money problems. Heard what's going on with the money problems. Yeah, bro. Well, you see what we're doing? We're right here. Why don't you take some of this and just sell it, bro, and just get paid, Grover. And I'd be like, no, I'll never join you. I'll never join the dark side. Right out of Star Wars, but it's kind of like, you know what I mean? So a lot of people just kind of gave in at some point, like, yo, everybody's out here, it seems, getting this money, and it's like the joke is on me, it seems, man, because I'm the dude that's not getting the money, and the whole like Lord of the Flies like group, like tribe, clan is like sitting there, and you're the only one that's not papered up, and you're like, all right, give me the fucking rocks, dude, just give me the bag, give me the pocket full of stones, dude, and I'll hit the fucking blade. post up, sell the shit, come back and double up. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, man, peer pressure, misguided youth, young adults, misguided. So, after like a decade and a half of that shit, you just see how dark shit is, man, on that level of reality. And I'm just like, why is life like this, man? Why is the West Coast so fucking corrupt, man, back in the 1990s? Like, who's stopping these motherfuckers from bringing this shit into America? It don't seem like anybody, man. It seems like they're bringing it in, and you know how it goes. I'm just saying, as a kid, you're just wondering how shit works. You're just like, how's this working? Like, this has to be rigged up and staged up. So then you're like, oh, Border Patrol is on the payroll. Oh, DEA's on the payroll. Oh, local cops are on the payroll. And I'm working in telemarketing, making fucking $300 every month. Yeah, not every 2 weeks, every month. Back in the 1990s, you know how much fucking minimum wage was? It's $4.25 an hour. After taxes, you pretty much made no fucking money, man. And the type of jobs that were available back then, there was no internet, wasn't created. I mean, it was, but it wasn't, for mainstream society. There was no internet. There was no online economy. There was no online. So, look, I get it. I had a paper route. I worked at Wendy's for one fucking day. What else? I worked at KFC for like 4 months or 90 days or some shit. I had a lot of jobs, raking leaves, shoveling snow, mowing lawns. But man, when you see people that have money and you're from low income, between low income and middle class, you're just like, yo, man, I don't want to be a have-not, Well, what am I supposed to do with this paper route? Like, how much money is that going to put in my pocket? How much money is it going to pay me at fucking Wendy's? I mean, I'm in goddamn fucking high school, You just see kids, like, driving to school in cars, and you're like, yo, my family, man, I don't get a car when I turn 16. Man, I don't have all this fresh gear that all these other dudes have when their parents take them to the mall and buy them whatever the fuck they want, or mostly what they want, or half of what they want. Shit, I can't afford, like, all these different fresh kinds of tennis shoes and like gear and shit like that. Like, how am I going to get a girlfriend in high school? How am I going to go to the prom? How am I going to pay for this? I'm going to pay for that. So then I'm like, well, I guess I'll just be without, other than the little that I have. Because I'm not going to sell crack or do crime, was my thinking back then. And then when you find out that Border Patrol's in on it, DEA's in on it, local cops are in on it on the payroll, and everyone else is getting paid, except for you, and it's supposed to be illegal, you're like, oh, it's supposed to be illegal, but all these people in law enforcement, they're in on it, and I'm supposed to stay away from it because it's illegal, but they're doing it? All right, fuck it. Give me the pocket full of stones, man. Give me the powder. Give me the gun. Give me the fucking bandana. Let's do the gang initiation. Let's rock. I'm just saying, man. I was 14 years old. Going on 15. That's right. And I'd already been with one little gang. It wasn't a big gang, but I'd already rolled with some stoner dudes that were doing some theft and shit and had a little experience for like a week hanging out with these guys. But then I was like, nah, I can't be doing this. It's the wrong shit. And my mom took one of my first guns that I had, and my aunt took like another gun. And, they took the gun clips and the bullets and the guns and shit. So I like gave it up for a minute. Then I met this dude in California, and shit got real, again, on some bigger, higher level shit. So I was like, well, I wasn't going to join a gang again, but I guess the way you've presented it, man, let's rock. Let's do it. Shit was just crazy, man. Shit was fucking crazy. And I didn't have the money back then, man. And I was misguided and fucking stupid, man, and foolish. So, you know, it is what it is, man. So, what I said to myself, man, was, in the future, I'm going to create a counterterrorism network. Because I've seen so much fucking terror, man, out here on the streets. Just terrible shit is what I'm talking about. People, man, being sold drugs, being sick. You know, what I'm saying is seeing those people who were sick, like heroin junkies and crack dope fiends, and people, man, that I didn't really want to sell them drugs, man. I really didn't. I was like, man, I'm hurting this person, man, for profit. You know? And it was sick, man. It was just crazy shit, you know? Your conscience starts to get to you, man. Some people do it and they don't give a fuck. I gave a fuck, man. You know, sometimes I just booze up and I'd be like, well, whatever, man. You know, dog eat dog world. If I don't, you know, the whole mentality, if I don't sell it to them, someone else is going to do it. And there were times like, and I tried to, like, I'd have a bag and people would be like, yo, you got some stones? And I'd be like, nah, man, I ain't got no stones. They're like, I just saw you with stones. I just saw you serve this other person. Come on, Grove, like, hook me up with some fucking, with some soup, man, with some work. Like, I'm hurting, man. Like, I need to get high, like, on crack. And I'd be like, nah, man, I ain't selling you any fucking work, man. I ain't got none. They'd be like, come on, quit lying, Grove. I know you got dope on you, bro. And it'd be like a friend of mine that would be hooked on the shit. Or someone that's selling in the streets, and it'd be like his mom's. I'd be like, I can't sell you rocks, man, because you're such and such's mom's and shit. And she'd be like, motherfucker, just give me the goddamn shit. She'd have the money in the hand and shit. And she'd be like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I want... And then she'd be like, all right, fuck it. It ain't for me. It's for someone else. I'd be like, come on, man. I know you gonna smoke the shit. And I know it ain't for someone else, man. And in good conscience, I can't really sell you the fucking dope. And she'd be like, I don't give a fucking shit. Sell me the goddamn dope. I'm buying it. It's not for me. Okay? It's for someone else. I'd be like, damn. So I'd sell her the dope. She'd sit there and fucking smoke half of it, call someone up, or, you know, hit the block, walk outside, or like go get someone out of another room or some shit. And then she'd sell them the dope like she said she was going to sell them the dope. And then she'd come back with some more money and be like, see, I told you. Okay? I'll be like, right, but you're still getting high and you're still the homies' moms and shit. And it just ain't right, man. It don't feel right selling you fucking D, you know? And then the next thing you know, she'd have like a whole room filled with bass heads because, you know, she's smoking and selling the shit. Next thing you know, you're calling the dope man like, bro, I need triple up. Like, I got this bag off, man, and I got a fucking house, fucking trap spot filled with like 50 dope fiends, bro. And then, you know, one of the niggas that was fucking, you know, above me would roll through, man, and he'd have weight and shit. And I'd get like whatever, you know, and I usually be with someone else anyway. Well, it usually not, you know, I mean, I'd be off on my own and shit, but, you know, we'd be out in teams, man. So then next thing you know, some motherfuckers rolling up or whatever. I meet him at the little spot, you know, maybe he might come in or I might go out to the car and then we'd go in, we'd get like some zips, like some ounces of dope or whatever, you know what I'm saying? I don't know, man, like a quarter bird or some shit. I'm just saying, man, whatever we would throw in on, man, or a half or whatever, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I'd sit in the kitchen sometimes and watch the homie fucking hook up the whole bird and shit, you know what I'm saying? Birds, chickens, whatever, right? And a nigga would just front a nigga some shit, you know? I'd be like, how much you want for this? And he'd be like, man, just keep your money, man. Just come back with this, you know? So we come back with like 3,500 or, you know, fucking 10 grand or 25 or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, man. The shit was dark. It was wrong. It was fucked up, man. It was ill. And it was some of the worst times of my life, man. Because, man, you'd be you just be out at nighttime for like a year. Just be out at nighttime, you know? You wouldn't even be out at daytime for like a whole year. You know, man, you wake up with your team and it'd be nighttime. Everyone had their cell phones on their fucking chargers and shit. And, you know what I'm saying? You wake up at the secret lair, you know? And it was just all about selling dope, man. And I'm just like, this is dark shit. You know? Literally, it's dark shit. And you just be out on the streets, man. Battling motherfuckers, rolling with, like, illegal weapons and fucking illegal drugs, narcotics. You know what I'm saying? And trying to evade the police and fucking task forces and, like, just fucked up dark shit, man. So, in the back of my mind the whole time, the West Coast was engulfed in the 1990s police, gang, drug, crack war because it was the police and it was gangs and a lot of the police were a gang and it was drugs and it was a war. We'd just be at war, man. We'd be at war, you know? We'd go from one sector to another sector, one block to another block, one neighborhood to another neighborhood. Daytime might be some picnic, might be some soiree, nighttime festivities. Just different drug networks, man. Different cartels, families, just all the shit you see in the fucking movies, man. It was sick. You know, and you try to balance it out with some laughter and some joy and, you know, some parties and shit. But in the back of your mind, you're just like, this ain't right, man. This shit is just fucking a different world, man, a different dimension, a different universe. And you be wanting out of that shit, man. You be like, yo, man, how long can this shit last? Man, I didn't want to do it, man, anymore. I didn't want to fucking do it. I never wanted to do it in the first place, man. But you get in so deep to the shit that you just be like that rap group talks about, man. You know, the name of the group, you just be in too deep. You just be in too deep, man. And, you know, you be having PTSD and shit too, man, because you live in that world for so long, you be shell-shocked, man. Just all the horrors, all the shit you've seen, all the dark shit, you know, fucking fights and shootouts and fucking, like, missions and, like, wrecked cars and people stabbed up and fucking police, like, you know, like shakedowns and dope spots raided and just everything, man, you can think of. Everything conceivable, man. You see shit like that. And you just be rattled by it, man. It reverberates, man. And it's in your mind, man. It's like I said, your conscience, man, it gets to you. So I told myself a long time ago, I was like, yo, I'm going to take everything I learned out in this game of fucking cloak and dagger and the police drug drug war. I'm going to take everything I learned, man, and at some point I'm going to flip the script, man. I'm going to give back to society, man. I'm going to do the right thing. I'm going to form a counterterrorism organization. I'm going to do it legally. I'm going to go through all the proper channels, man. And I'm going to start, because I knew about private military companies. And I'm like, yo, I was on the high school rifle team, man. I'm saying I've had a lot of guns and weapons and shit. I've been on these fucking streets, man, pulling drive-bys on rivals and shit, and, you know, concealing weapons and ammunition and going to gun ranges and fucking weapons trafficking and, you know, drug trafficking and all this other shit, man. And it's horrible shit. So I'm going to counterbalance it out, man, and I'm going to do something legit. And I'm going to do something for the greater good of society, man, and humanity. And I'm going to be on the other side of the law. And I'm going to go after fucking terrorists.